The room is silent, but for the sound of a clockwork heart beating too fast. You sit across from her. A single tear, a traitorous jewel, escapes and traces a path down your cheek. You offered her your vulnerability. A piece of your fractured soul laid bare on the cold, dark wood of the table between you. You expected solace, empathy, a gentle hand to cover your own. Instead, you receive nothing. A stillness so profound it feels like a judgment. Her eyes, once warm pools of liquid night, have become chips of obsidian, and in that void you feel it. A flicker of something you cannot name. Not pity, not anger. Something colder. Something that feels like disgust. You recoil. Your mind screams denial. She loves me. She would never... But the feeling is there, an invisible parasite feeding on the intimacy you once shared. This is not an accident. This is not a flaw in her character. This is psychology, ancient, primal, and brutal in its simplicity. Every woman, no matter how modern, how compassionate, carries within her an echo of this primal code, a deeply embedded script that runs on a logic far older than love. It's the protector-provider script, not about money, not about brute force. It is about a man's perceived ability to navigate chaos, to be the calm eye in the hurricane of life. When you show vulnerability, you are sharing a burden. You are saying, the storm is great, but I am still at the helm. Stand with me. But when you show weakness, you are abdicating the helm. You are collapsing over the wheel, crying out, the storm is too much. Save me. And the ancient mechanism inside her whirs to life. The subconscious alarm doesn't hear your pain. It only hears a captain who has surrendered his ship. The biological imperative is ruthless. It whispers, this vessel is no longer safe. The navigator is lost. Survival requires distance. This is the secret disgust. It isn't a conscious judgment. It's a visceral, involuntary recoil from a perceived catastrophic failure of leadership. Consider the story of Elias and Seraphina. They lived in a house of elegant shadows and quiet understanding, their love a carefully constructed tapestry. Elias was an architect of dreams, his confidence a solid foundation upon which they built their world. Seraphina, an artist, found beauty in his strength. Then the foundation cracked. A major project, his magnum opus, crumbled into dust and legal battles. The architect lost his blueprint. The man who once built castles in the sky could no longer build a reason to get out of bed. His grief was a thick, suffocating fog that filled every room of their house. Seraphina tried. She brought him tea. She read to him from old books. She offered words like tiny, fragile bridges across the chasm of his despair. But he did not want a bridge. He wanted her to jump into the chasm with him. His neediness became a constant, desperate pull on her sleeve. "Do you still love me?" he'd ask, his voice a ghost's whisper. "Tell me it will be okay." He wasn't seeking comfort. He was outsourcing his will to live. And that is when it began. The recoil. In the middle of the night, she would look at the man beside her, this empty vessel, and feel a cold knot form in her stomach. She hated herself for it. Her conscious mind screamed, "He is in pain! He needs you!" But her body, her primal self, was already walking away. The disgust was not for his sadness, it was for his surrender. He hadn't just lost a job, he had lost himself. And in doing so, he was losing her. Here is the truth you must understand, etched in stone and shadow. There is a monumental difference between vulnerability and weakness. Vulnerability is the warrior, armor dented, sword broken, admitting to his comrade, "I am wounded. I fear I may fall. But I will stand and fight beside you until the end." It is an invitation to share strength. It builds trust. It deepens intimacy. It is a testament to his courage, not his lack of it. Weakness, however, is the warrior dropping his broken sword, falling to his knees and wailing. It is hopeless, The fight is lost. Save me from this pain. It is not an invitation, it is a demand, a transference of burden. It signals that the masculine core, the drive, the purpose, the will to overcome, has been extinguished, and the primal disgust she feels is a biological response to that void. It's the scent of death. Not physical death, but the death of the spirit. She does not want a man who feels no pain. That is a sociopath. She does not want a man who feels no fear. That is a fool. She wants a man who can feel the full, crushing weight of the world on his shoulders and still choose to stand. His strength is not in the absence of the burden, but in his endurance of it. That is the core of attractive masculine energy. It is resilience. So what do you do when you feel the world crumbling, when the tear wants to fall? First, you do not deny the feeling. That is suppression, and it creates monsters. You acknowledge it. You let it exist within you. You say to yourself, I am afraid. I am in pain. I am lost. You own the emotion. You do not let it own you. This is the practice of self-possession. It is the understanding that your inner state is your sovereign territory. No one can conquer it unless you surrender the throne. When you communicate your struggle from this place of ownership, the entire dynamic changes. You are not a victim seeking a savior. You are a king reporting on a siege. The words may be the same, I'm afraid and predict, but the energy is completely different. One is a plea for rescue, the other is a statement of fact, a prelude to action. She will not feel disgust at the king, she will feel respect. She will want to fight beside him. Her primal programming will recognize a worthy ally, a leader who is tested but unbroken. So the next time you feel that tear begin to form, let it. But as it falls, do not look to her to catch it. Look to the man in the mirror. Hold your own ground. Weather your own storm. The woman in your life is not your therapist. She is not your mother. She is a partner who chose to sail with a captain. Do not betray that choice by handing her the wheel when the waters get rough. She may not know why she feels the cold chill of disgust, but you will. And that knowledge is your power.